Alright friends, welcome to the Monday Mind, and I'm here with our old friend Neb from the Hobbit season, and we are at one of our older mines to do this week's Monday Mind. I absolutely loved coming back to this mine. I had so much fun setting this up, turning it into obsidian, setting up these little water areas. I mean, it really was just a blast building this thing. But we're going to be doing some mining here. And I got a little disorientated and went the wrong way because the mine is actually over here. So we're going to head down here and we're going to start our Monday mine. So we're going to get some music going. And I love mining in this world because we typically do find like a lot of really good things. And I'm not going to use Silk Touch. I always do that. But if you use Silk Touch on these things, then you wind up getting an unusable block that you're going to have to break later on anyways. So yeah, let's get started. All right, friends, before we get started, I just want to ask, how are you and how are you doing? Are you feeling well or are you feeling down? Are you feeling victorious or are you feeling a bit defeated? I hope the answer is that you're feeling well and that you're feeling victorious in your goals and your day-to-day activities. And if you're not, I hope that you have a good friend that you can tell that to and find the support and encouragement that you need. Be there for one another and let others be there for you. But let's get started on what we're going to talk about today. And what we're going to talk about today is saying, I'm sorry. We hear people say I'm sorry all the time for all kinds of different reasons. But the fact of the matter is, we're all human. We will inevitably make mistakes, and we will inevitably let people down. We may let down our spouse, we may let down our children, we may let down our friends, we may let down our family, but the point is, we are going to disappoint people as we move throughout the journey of our life. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, is perfect. No matter how much education you have, how much money you have, how much popularity you have, you will make mistakes. And those mistakes will cause people's feelings to be hurt or cause a break in trust of your character. And when that happens, we will most likely turn to a phrase of, I'm sorry. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with, why is it so important to say, I'm sorry? We say it sometimes very flippantly. I'm sorry. Like, without any real meaning, real reflection, or real care. And then other times, we do come to places where we're tear-stricken and broken down and we say, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. But why is it important? And why do we even need to talk about this? Well, for one, when the mistake inevitably comes, or the wrong choice, because sometimes it's not a mistake, right? Sometimes we actually do just choose the wrong thing and then realize we've done something that has hurt someone else and we were not wanting that outcome. We were just being selfish at the time. But when the time comes, it's good for us to say we're sorry because it helps us to remain humble. If somebody was beneath you, if somebody didn't matter to you, you wouldn't tell them you were sorry for doing something that hurt their feelings, right? Like, you don't walk out on the street and step on the concrete and look down and go, I'm sorry I stepped on you, concrete, because you don't care about the concrete. It's concrete. It doesn't matter. It's insignificant. It's just concrete. Like, it can be replaced. It's not being damaged by you stepping on it. You don't even think about it. It's meaningless. But people matter. People matter. And people's feelings matter. And so when we say we're sorry for something we've done or said, we're saying to ourselves, hey, this person's emotions, well-being, that matters more than what I did. And I need to humble myself by telling this person that I'm sorry for the actions that I have taken. It's hard to do. Honestly, throughout my life, the many conversations I've had with people where I had to apologize for my shortcomings or misbehavior. It's difficult. It's very uncomfortable. You don't know how that person's going to respond. You hope that they'll respond with a "I forgive you" or "I understand." But a lot of times, especially if you apologize right after the event, that is not the response you get. And so humbling yourself in that moment and putting that other person in an elevated spot and saying, "I'm giving you the power here to forgive me or not forgive me, to heal this relationship or break it further than it's already been broken." So it humbles us when we say we're sorry. The second thing is, it puts the other person in a position of power. So we talked about humbling ourselves, but this is back on that elevated idea. You're saying to that person, you have all the control in this moment. Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Do we end this friendship, this relationship? Do we not speak to each other for a while moving forward? It wouldn't be a real apology. It really wouldn't be a real humbling of yourself if you said, "I'm sorry, now get over it because it's not a big deal." That's not really an apology. A real apology, a real embodiment of "I'm sorry," usually is followed up by you kind of backing off and saying, "You know what? The next move is theirs. Whatever they need from me, whether that's time or space or more explanation on what took place, then I will provide those things." So, for example, being a parent and raising children, I raised 3 boys. They're grown adults. They're grown adults. I almost said for the most part, but they are. They're adults now. But throughout the many years of raising them, there were lots of moments where I made mistakes as a father. This happens. Like, you get angry about something and assume that certain people did certain things or didn't do certain things, and you react with frustration and harsh words, and then realize, uh-oh, that's not the real story. That's not what really happened. I overreacted. I jumped to assumptions. And so you say you're sorry, but you have to be delicate and let the person have the time to heal from the break of trust that you've committed against them. And so I would tell my children, like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Come talk to me when you want more explanation on why I acted the way I did. And come talk to me when you want to spend some time." Another thing I used to do with my boys a lot of time as I was raising them is say, "Can we just go for a walk? And if we don't talk, that's fine. But if you do want to talk, that's fine too." And so I would try to create an atmosphere after the apology where we would have a chance to reconnect afterwards. Thankfully, these mistakes weren't like terrible and nobody was like super punished or anything like that, but there were shortcomings, like every father, throughout the time of raising my children. But sorry helped me keep that relationship intact throughout the many years. The last thing is, it is required that when we say we're sorry for something, for that sorry to actually have genuine meaning, it is required for us to attempt to stop or change our behavior that caused the incident in the first place. If somebody says, "I'm sorry," but then continues to act in the way that created the hard feelings to begin with, then I would have to say that the person's probably not sorry. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to make mistakes again and again. Again, we're people. We do this. We have shortcomings. But part of saying "I'm sorry" means I'm going to attempt. Now, there's the key word there, attempt. I'm not guaranteeing you that I'm never going to make another mistake. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to be perfect moving forward. But what I am doing is attempting to change, to prove to you that I actually reflected on my decisions and choices and words and realized they weren't right. And that's why I came and said, I'm sorry. And so when we say we're sorry, we need to spend some time ourselves probably reflecting on what is making us feel like we need to apologize for, so that we can have kind of a plan in place to really address our shortcoming, our mistake. So the next time you find yourself in a spot where you feel like you need to apologize for something you've done, I would strongly suggest holding off on your apology while you spend some time self-reflecting on how can I approach these situations differently in the future so I don't repeat the same mistake, so that when you actually offer your apology to that person, you can say, I'm very sorry for the way I acted. And here are the steps I'm going to take to try to prevent this type of thing taking place again in the future. And then it's up to you to actually follow through with that, as well as up to them to either accept or deny the apology. And that's kind of the point of this too, is that we're relinquishing control of that event and that situation. We maintain control when we don't say we're sorry, right? If we've done something wrong and we've angered someone, if we continue to act the same way and we're stubborn and we don't humble ourselves, we maintain control because we're going to keep that person offended, frustrated, and angry indefinitely. But when we say we're sorry, we're releasing the control of that event that has taken place and allowing the possibility for healing to take place with one another. Guys, don't beat yourself up when you do have mistakes come along in your life. Don't be hard on yourself. Everybody makes mistakes, and they vary from small little things to devastating, life-changing events. And it's unfortunate, but it happens. People make mistakes. You will make mistakes, and not just one, but probably hundreds of thousands throughout your life. I mean, it is a part of the journey of life, because some things you don't know until you do them. So when you find yourself in that situation where you need to humble yourself, go easy on yourself too. Give yourself some credit for the fact that you are just like everyone else. And when somebody comes to you and says they're sorry, have pity, have sympathy, because you know as well what it's like to be on that side. And if we both come together, if people both come together like that on both sides, just think of all the healing that we can have in friendships and relationships and with family members, in our co-workers, and just life in general. Be prepared to be strong, but also to be humble in your life. Guys, have a fantastic week, and I hope you enjoyed this. Alright friends, welcome back, and that was quite the mining session. I mean, we got a lot of diamonds in about 20 minutes worth of mining. Actually less than 20 minutes. Like, let's take a look what we got here. We got a ton of redstone, a little bit of iron, which is not uncommon to struggle finding that at such low depths. But we got a little gold and 40 diamond. 40 diamond! Like, what do you think about that? Huh? What do you think about that 40 diamond? Yeah, that's awesome. So just kind of for perspective too, the last time we were mining in this world, this is what we got. We got 24 diamond. So we got 64 diamond in just the last two little mining sessions. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Monday Mine. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Mining Positivity. Bye, friends.